Will the House come to order? Item 1, roll call. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Ayu, Mr. Alcos, Ms. Amato, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Chun, Ms. Cochran, Mr. Evslin, Mr. Ganadin,
Excuse.
Mr. Garcia, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Gates, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Holt, Ms. Hussey Burdick, Ms. Ichiyama, Ms. Kahaloa, Ms. Capella,
Excuse.
Mr. Kila, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Kobayashi, Mr. Kong, Ms. Lachika, Ms. Lamosao, Ms. Lowen, Ms. Martin, Ms. Martinez, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. Miyake, Ms. Mizuno, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima, Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Pirik, Ms. Poe, Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Saiki, Mr. Sayama, Ms. Souza, Mr. Takayama, Ms. Takenouchi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Ward, Mr. Woodson,
Excuse.
Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 48 members are present, 3 are excused.
Item 2, reading of the journal. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the governor?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Members, introductions. Representative Quinlan.
Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have Johnny M., also known by his boxing name, The Miz. Welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Ward.
Thank you, Speaker. We have in the gallery someone who looks like she's at a wedding or going to get married. It's Dawn O'Brien, who is the voice of many radio shows and others. Dawn, welcome to the House of Representatives. Yes, we love you. We love you too. Aloha.
Representative Kahaloa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the gallery, we have 2 guests with us. Alex Cornell Deyu, a former state representative in Maine. He's the founder of EOPA, Elected Officials to Protect America, which is a network of lawmakers across the United States and world, focusing on protections of land, water, and democracy while ensuring environmental justice and climate solutions. He is also a professor at the University of San Francisco and runs their Certificate in Public Leadership for elected officials. We also have Irina Andrew, is a Ukrainian veteran, please stand, who has been awarded 4 presidential medals from 2 Ukrainian presidents for saving 800 children from being sold into slavery, crossing the battlefield unarmed to rescue hostages, developing the mental health and physiological operations programs for Ukraine, and evacuating over 400 Afghan women leaders from Afghanistan. She is the only woman to receive their Medal for Courage. And accompanying them today is Nikki Watts, the office manager of our Vice Speaker, Ilagan, and Manya Tam, a rising star here in the Capitol. Manya is the committee clerk for Chair Bellotti. Thank you and welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Gates.
Mr. Speaker, in the gallery, I see a great advocate for farmers across Hawaii. We have Brian Miyamoto from Hawaii Farm Bureau. Please stand and be recognized by your House of Representatives.
Representative Parrott.
Thank you. In the gallery today, we have several individuals, including Pastor Steph Anderson with Waiole Outreach. We have Hope Kahu Leolani Delama And we also have Kamana K with Sons of Yeshua and Hale Kemana with Cedar Assemblies of God. Thank you so much. Welcome to your House of Representatives.
All right, members, with no further introductions, let's move on to the order of the day. Item 5, floor presentations. Mr. Clerk, are there any floor presentations?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have one floor presentation today. House Resolution Number 222, recognizing Chad Buck, founder and chief executive officer of the Hawaii Food Service Alliance, LLC, for being a beacon of light and hope by immediately distributing aid to the Lahaina wildfire disaster victims during their darkest hours. This resolution is offered by Representative Mizuno.
Representative Mizuno.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt the resolution.
Speaker Saiki.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the resolution be adopted. Any discussion, Representative Mizuno?
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support for this House resolution to recognize Chad Buck, the founder and CEO of the Hawaii Food Service Alliance, for leading the largest civilian disaster response to a natural disaster in the history of Hawaii. On the night of August 8, 2023, Lahaina was devastated by wildfires, which was the greatest natural disaster in our state's history. In the wake of this epic calamity, with over 100 lives lost, it was a tragedy beyond imagination. And in the darkest hour, our people of Lahaina, Maui, found light in the love and compassion from Chad Buck, who within hours, through the urging of Governor Green, led the largest civilian response to a natural disaster in the history of Hawaii. Chad's response was immediate, with HFA delivering millions of dollars of food, water, ice, medical supplies, clothing, heavy equipment, providing over 1,350 transports from the mainland to Hawaii and inter-island to Maui. Chad was the lifeline to Lahaina during its darkest hour. Chad, your legacy is every life you have touched. And today, we honor you for the lives you've touched on Maui, Hawaii, and the world. Chad, you represent all that is good in society. You did not set out to be a leader, but became one by your decisive actions and the integrity of your intent. You display the fundamental principles of spirit of aloha, ohana, leadership, love, and compassion. At this time, Chad Buck, please stand to be recognized by your House of Representatives. I now yield to Speaker Saiki for further comments on this resolution.
Speaker Saiki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm really proud to support this resolution, not just to honor Chad, but also his partner and his wife, Stephanie, because together they have built a business that has done so much for our state. And actually, the origin of their business, they have very humble beginnings. I think it began on a card table or on their kitchen table in the early days, and they were able to build this business, HFA, into the largest local food distributor in our state. It also operates on the West Coast, and as the Kali representative mentioned, they have always been responsive to the needs of our community. And that's because they have not forgotten their origin, they have not forgotten the community. And I wanted to just give a couple of more examples of what they've done. So not only have they helped us with the Lahaina wildfire, but when the pandemic occurred 4 years ago, Chad and Stephanie were there at the very beginning to help with distribution throughout our state, with food and water, ice, other supplies. You know, we all recall the food lines, all of the shelters that were set up for food distribution. Chad and Stephanie and HFA supplied many of those community-based efforts. The second area where they've made an impact, and I think this shows a lot about their character and their philosophy, is how they have worked with their employees. Chad and Stephanie have developed a program to integrate inmates, former inmates, into HFA, and to provide them with training and opportunities for work and growth and development. And they have particularly focused on women. And I think that says a lot about where they're coming from and their commitment to not just to their workers, but to the well-being of our entire state. So with that, I'd like to congratulate both Chad and Stephanie for everything that they've done for us and for making an impact for every single person in our state. Thank you very much.
Members will be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. The motion is carried. Representative Mizuno, please proceed with the certificate and lay presentation. The chair will call a recess to allow the members of the House to meet and congratulate the honorees. Recess. Will House come to order? We're on item 6, reports of standing committees. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1354-24 through 1380-24 as listed on pages 1 through 8, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions as may be amended be referred to their designated committees.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Members will be taking up discussions on Standcom Report 1354-24 and 1355-24 in tandem. Any discussions? Next, 1356 and 1357 in tandem. 1358 and 1359. 1360 and 1361. Next page, 1362 and 1363, 1364 and 1365. Representative Pirrick?
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Garcia?
Reservations.
So ordered. Next page, 1366 and 1367, 1368 and 1369. Next page, 1370 and 1371, 1372 and 1373. Next page, 1374 and 1375, 1376 and 1377. Next page, 1378 and 1379. Last, 1380. Members will be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1381-24 through 1388-24 as listed on pages 9 through 11, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions as may be amended be adopted.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussions on Standcom Report 1381-24 and 1382-24 in tandem? Representative Poy.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Hasi Bardik.
Same request.
So ordered. Representative Amato.
Reservations.
So ordered. 1383 and 1384 in tandem. Next page. 1385 and 1386. 1387, next page, and 1388. Members will be calling a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Item 7, third reading. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules of the House in order to consider certain Senate bills for third reading by consent calendar.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Senate bills listed on pages 11 and 12 pass third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion on SB 3123? SB 2757, Representative Ward.
Speaker, I rise in support.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I just saw the movie Sound of Freedom. If people haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It really gives you upfront and close understanding of what this is really about. It's unbelievable, all the tragedy that is happening. One of the takeaways is the fact that there's now more slavery in the world now when it's illegal than when it was legal. And most of the slavery is young girls in the sex trafficking. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not a perfect thing aligning. I understand there's a part where it's not as stringent if we adopt the federal, but it's better than not having the other benefits of the federal. So this is a good bill, but I cannot believe, and I know Hawaii is part and parcel of that sex trafficking. Look at Sound of Freedom, and you will be angry, but then you will weep or at least shed a tear. This is a good bill. Thank you, Speaker.
All right, members. Next page. SB 3159. Representative Pruso.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Cochran.
Also no vote.
So ordered. Representative Souza.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Hussey Burdick.
Same request.
So ordered. All right, members. Representative Morikawa for the vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the measures before us, all majority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On page 12, STANCOM report number 1341-24, SB number 3159 SD1 HD1, the following vote no. Reps Cochran, Holt, Hussey Burdick, Peruso, Poi Poi.
Representative Garcia.
On the measures before us, all minority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On SCR 1341, SB 3159, Tenant Draft 1, House Draft 1, Rep. Souza votes no.
Have all votes been cast? Said Senate bills pass third reading. Item 8, announcements. Members, are there any announcements? Representative Matsumoto.
With tomorrow being Kuhio Day, I just wanted to remind everybody that on Wednesday, we finally are having our Easter baskets. And again, it's not going to be in front of the auditorium. It's going to be up in the rotunda right in front of the Father Damien statue. So if you haven't made your baskets yet, if you can go out today and tomorrow to make your baskets, we have our 5 organizations that we will be donating to. And again, we will have our surprise Easter bunny and Easter chick that you'll be able to take pictures with. Thank you.
Representative Ward.
Thank you, Speaker. Just a reminder, at 3 p.m., if any of you can grace us with your presence at the premier viewing, private viewing of Broken Promises 2. That's all about Hawaiian Homes Commission and the federal law that says any surplus federal land has to go to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. That is a film all about that. It was premised from Rod Perez from the Star Advertiser, and Kali Watson will be there, and others who were instrumental in making that documentary. 3 p.m., room 325. Thank you.
No further announcements. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon Wednesday.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon Wednesday.